Retirement statistics. We're just looking at some averages in the US. The retirement age distribution, 6% retire under at the age of 55 and under. The 17% retire from 50 to 60 years old. 43% 60 to 65, 24% 65 to 70, and 10% over 70. So a small portion are retiring before 55, the biggest chunk between 60 and 65, 43%. And a good amount, 65 to 70, 24%, almost a quarter of people retiring from 65 to 70. Life expectancy, not that the goal is to not work, but that's just where we have, and it makes sense. 65 is where you can get Medicare. You can start Social Security anywhere from 62 to 70. Life expectancy for a 60-year-old. So if you make it to 60, you have a 50 shot of making it to 85. If you make it to 60, you have a 20% chance that you'll make it to 95 and beyond. Again, not necessarily the goal. Quality of life definitely is better than just making it longer, but there you go. For planning purposes, it's helpful to know a little. Here's your own family history and your health currently, but just US average, that can give you some ideas. Of course, anything could happen any day, but it gives you some idea for planning. Average savings in retirement. Now, this doesn't include real estate, just savings. 48% of people have $100,000 or less. 36% have 100 to 500,000. So what is that? 84% have less than $500,000. So large majority under $500,000 to 1,000,000, 9%, over 1,000,000, 5%. So very small amounts that are 5% above $1,000,000. And percent of retirees invested in stock, about 60%. So of those portfolios, I don't know if that's good or bad, but 60%, or I don't know if that's surprising or not, but 60% hold some stock. It's not just CDs and savings. So a majority are benefiting from the high market. Average debt in retirement. Of retirees who have debt, 60%, and the average of non-mortgage debt is $11,000. Median home equity is almost $200,000 for retirees. Median net worth for retirees, 65 to 74 years old, is about $400,000. Home ownership rate is 78%. So there are a lot of seniors owning a home, and they have some good amount of equity in it, and that really bumps up the net worth. And that's a median number, so it's not pulled way out of whack by our ultra wealthy. Average income in retirement. Social Security, 90% of retirees get Social Security, and the average is about $1,800 a month. Retirement accounts, we kind of talked about this already, but 55% of retirees have retirement accounts, so a little over half, and they're averaging about $1,500 a month from their retirement accounts. Pensions, only 20% of retirees receive pensions, and I bet that number keeps going down over time. I see very few pensions. There are some, but not that many. 20%. And the average pension recipient is getting about $2,000 a month. Part-time employment income in retirement, 20% of retirees do this, and it's about $12,500 a month, doing just a little bit of part-time work. Rental income, only 11% of retirees have rental income, and it averages about $1,000 a month. Median total income from all sources is about $2,500 a month. The majority of that would be Social Security, and then depending on your situation, you may be pulling from retirement or pension or part-time or rental. So $2,500. Household income, annual income, 40% have under $25,000 a year. 30% have 25 to 50,000 a year. So that's 70% of Americans, retirees. 70% have 75,000 or less a year that they're pulling in. Sorry, 75,000, 50,000 or less. So 70% have 50,000 or less that they're pulling in. From 50 to 75,000, it's only 15%, and then over 75,000, it's 15%. So 85% are making less than 75,000 a year. So that's definitely some adjustments in retirement for a majority of Americans. Healthcare costs in retirement, healthcare, just healthcare. They're saying monthly total. I think this is it. So annual per year. This makes it total spending in retirement about 13,000 a year. Retirement spending, this is without long-term care, is about 300,000 in the average long-term lifetime spending. So it's about $1,000 a month that you're spending on healthcare, and not including long-term care, not including assisted living. It's for an average person in the US, it's about $300,000 over that long term. So you could be paying out monthly, of course. It's not like you need to have 300,000 ready to go. And obviously Americans don't. Long-term care costs. So average long-term monthly cost is about $7,000. I'm in Tucson, Arizona right now, and our average, I think I'd say would be lower, more like 5 to 6,000. But for the whole US, they're saying about 7,000. Percent of seniors who need some type of paid support, 48%. Percent of seniors living in assisted living facilities, only 2%. So that 7,000 a month is above what most of us are going to be using or paying. Average duration in long-term care, about 3 years. Percent of seniors receiving home health care, 4%. And total healthcare spending with long-term care is about 400,000. So they're saying another 100,000 you could add on to long-term care. Retirement spending. So seniors in retirement spending under 50,000 a year, 31%. So they're getting money from outside that the income they have. Seniors in retirement spending 50 to 70,000, 38%. So here we could say 69% of seniors are spending 75,000 or less. Seniors in retirement spending 75 to 100,000, 21%, and seniors in retirement spending over 100,000 a year, 10%. So most seniors are spending less than 75,000 a year, about 70%. Retirees living abroad, 3%, about 760,000 US retirees live abroad, where cost of living could be less. Top countries, Mexico, Costa Rica, Portugal, Spain, and Panama. A lot of Spanish speaking. Age milestones, just to keep in mind, 62, anywhere between 62 and 70, you can take Social Security. 62, you could start taking it. But if you take it before 70 and you're still, before 67, full retirement age, and you're still earning an income, you could have some penalties and be paying it back. If you make above a certain limit, you're paying about 50% of the amount you're making above it back. But so 62, you could potentially start taking it. At 65, you're eligible for Medicare. If you have enough quarters and you qualify, then you could start taking Medicare, get your health coverage, not free, but at a greatly reduced price for most of us. At 67, you're at full retirement age. After 67, you can make all the money you want and you're not penalized for taking Social Security. At 70, that's the max Social Security benefit. If you are born before 1960, you have to start that RMD at 73. If you're born after 1960, it's 75. Required minimum distribution. So your tax deferred accounts like IRAs, 401ks, at 73, you have to take, it's about 4% a year. You have to take a percentage out each year and you're taxed on it. 40% of all adults support aging parents. 26% of adult children provide direct financial help. Average unpaid caregiver provides 20 hours of care per week. I saw another statistic I thought was interesting. The duration in care facilities. 20% of people need care for 5 years or more. So the majority, average duration is 3 years, but it could extend further. All right, I'm Bill Holliday, AIO Financial, fee only financial planners. We're comprehensive. You can go to our website, aiofinancial.com, and there's a link. You could set up a free meeting. Glad to talk to you about your financial situation. All right, have a good one. Thank you. Let me know if you have any comments or questions.